A loaded Saturday in USL League One gets underway from the River City, where tonight's match is presented by U-Crops. It is Richmond Kickers hosting FC Naples in a major six-pointer around the playoff line. We say hello and welcome from Richmond, Virginia. I'm Sam Goldfarb, thrilled to bring you all of the action as you get your look at the USL League One table. An FC Naples squad that went through that prolonged rut in May and June, starting to stabilize, though, with results in the last two matches. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, a Richmond team that has won just one of its last 11 league games, now 4 points adrift. And speaking of those Richmond struggles, a team that has really seen that happen due to the drop-off in their attacking production. No goals since June 25th, a team that early in the season was fueled by its attack and has still scored the fourth most goals in the competition, but unable to find the target the last few weeks. And a big reason for that drop-off, potentially, injuries. You see these 5 key attacking pieces all missing at least multiple matches in league play. The notable absence for a long period of time, Darwin Espinal, who was top of the league in scoring at the time of his injury in early June. He is back on the bench tonight, but someone who has been a huge part of Richmond going forward. And then, of course, Emiliano Terzaghi, the league's all-time leading scorer, also missing some time. Meanwhile, FC Naples, they went through their rut, but now generating results with late goals in the last 2 league games. They fell behind early at Westchester, conceding a penalty in the 14th, but then equalizing late in the first and finding a winner, Carson Henderlong, with this finish in the 83rd to power them to victory. And then a week later at the death at AV Alta, Julian Cisneros, this half volley spectacular to salvage a draw. Back-to-back games with goals in the 80th minute or later. Well, we are just about set for kickoff from the River City. It is Richmond looking to start a climb towards the...
Asia, your car's small.
It's a little cramped, but it's fine.
Fine? When you became MVP once, was that fine? No, you did it twice.
They built you a statue.
But you're fine with this tiny car when you could just sell it to CarMax?
You're right. It's not fine.
Can't feel my legs.
Never settle on the lot or on the court. CarMax.
We choose Impossible Pups because of their enrichment activities and the fun photos they send home every day. We choose Impossible Pups because Kendall is excited when I drop her off and she's excited when I pick her up.
My favorite part about working at Impossible Pups is that the staff here feels like family. It's seeing new dogs come in and build long-lasting confidence.
At Impossible Pups, your dog isn't just staying at a kennel, they're staying at their home away from home.
Welcome to Royal New Kent Golf Club. Designed by world-renowned architect Mike Strantz, Royal New Kent's a one-of-a-kind Irish-style golf course located 20 minutes east of Richmond, Virginia. Royal New Kent was featured in Golf Week's top 100 public courses in the country. Hidden behind grassy knolls and hand-stacked rock walls, each hole offers several playing options to fit a wide range of abilities. Visit royalnewkent.com or follow us on social media for more information on tee times and rates. Remember, come to Royal New Kent Golf Club to Golf Ireland in Virginia.
We would not have a business today if it weren't for the support of many, many people within the Richmond community. To me, we're working as a team to enhance the quality of life for all residents.
It's about being the best that you can be. It's about enriching the lives of people in your community. There's a reason why we have the tagline Nourish, because it's really about nourishing the lives of the people that work for us and the people that we serve. That's what the U-Crops brand stands for.
We welcome you back to Richmond, Virginia, where we are just about set for kickoff in this match presented by Nightingale Ice Cream. It is Richmond Kickers and FC Naples for the first time at City Stadium here this evening. And speaking of this matchup, it's time to get a look at our starting 11s presented by Ortho Virginia, and the Richmond Kickers make 5 changes from their Jägermeister Cup finale defeat at Charlotte a week ago. A 4-3-3 setup, interestingly enough. Schenfeld up front, he partners that man, Josh Kirkland, who is second in the league in goals with 7. Darren Sawatsky saying, though, in the absence of the likes of Schenfeld and Seufert and Espinal, his production has dipped because he's been asked to do a little too much. Now he has some assistance in the form of Schenfeld. Shenfeld in that 11. On the other side for FC Naples, their lineup also presented by Ortho Virginia, their classic 4-1-4-1, and this is a full 11. Goals to his name, scored the winner against Westchester a few weeks back, and he, unsurprisingly, our player to watch, presented by Guayaki Yerba Mate. He has been a menace leading the line for FC Naples, a complete forward for the visitors here this evening. Meanwhile, again, not a surprise, our player to watch for Richmond, also presented by Guayaki Yerba Mate, Joshua Kirkland, who has emerged rapidly since signing that first pro contract with Richmond Kickers in September of last year. Someone who has been one of the feel-good stories in USL League One, rapidly rising into one of the top forwards in this competition. Just about set for kickoff here at City Stadium. It is FC Naples going from left to right on your screen in the white kits. Richmond Kickers in their red, classic with white numbers, going from right to left. And underway, Richmond and FC Naples locking horns for the second time this year in a clash that could redefine how the top 8 looks by the end of the evening. Sam Goldfarb here bringing you all of the action tonight. It is an intriguing one. Richmond, we've mentioned the struggles, a team that has been plagued by the injury bug for the better part of summer. Darren Sawatsky saying that's not an excuse, though. We've missed a lot of chances early in matches that could have put us in front. Well, FC Naples, they went through their rut, but now salvaging results in the late stages of their last 2 league contests and a bit more comfort inside the playoff places at the minute. We're just about set for our injury report presented by Bon Secours for Richmond Kickers. Still no Matt Bolduc or James Vaughn. Meanwhile, Naples, we already said it off the top. Jaden Onan is out for the 2nd consecutive match, as is Ian Garrett. Here's Kirkland. Always a danger up front, a versatile presence leading the line this evening. It's interesting, for the bulk of the year, more deployed as a wide midfielder, but with Terzaghi on the bench and going through his ups and downs, he's been tipped to lead the line a bit more. Lage, new signing who joined quickly after he was released by Spokane Velocity in early July. Much needed defensive reinforcement for a Richmond side that has slumped considerably at the back. 28 goals allowed in league play. It's 3rd worst in the league, and that's been what's offset what has largely been a strong attacking display this season. O'Dwyer. Time for our keys to the game presented by CarMax. For Richmond, managing transition moments key. This is a Naples side that is known for its counter-attacking prowess, and they flashed that the last time they met in April. For Naples, taking early chances, a major key for them. Matt Poland has lamented his team missing out on big opportunities in the first 15 minutes. We talked a lot about their ability to convert in the last 15, but the first 15, sometimes they've let opportunities go begging. So those are your keys to the match as both these teams lock horns. Shenfeld looking to switch. And he does so expertly to Chandler O'Dwyer, last season's top scorer. And Johnson ushering it along for Kirkland. He does keep this in play. Johnson flicks it. The effort by O'Dwyer's blocked. Now falls for Shenfeld. Not a bad effort, but always rising, never dipping. He is an all-action menace on the left flank, and you see it on full display here. He is not shy about letting it rip, and this time puts his boots through it, and it just continues to rise. Odd deployment for him tonight, more known for his ability as an attack-minded fullback. This evening listed as an out-and-out winger. Due to the injury concerns, especially amongst their key frontline players, Darren Sawatsky forced into a fair few alterations this evening. Here's Garnett, an 18-year-old revelation at center back. Glasser snatches it back. Fareed. Keep your eye on him on the far side. When you evaluate how these two teams stack up, it's an interesting one because so much commentary in the Richmond support base over the last 2 years about how they feel they're better without the ball when they can counter and create havoc on the break. But they're playing a Naples side which features the second lowest average possession in the league, only above Chattanooga, and they are built on their counterattacking ability themselves. So it's a unique chess match for Darren Sawatsky to balance, someone who's still trying to figure out the right recipe for this side. But talking to him this week, he said, look, every year around this point, we're around 500 in the league, and we find a way to get it going with 4 or 5 straight key results. Last season was no different, a team that languished in the bottom half for large spells and then put some results together to clinch a playoff berth in the final 2 weeks. So it's not unfamiliar territory for him, but he said that if they can't churn out some wins in the coming weeks, pragmatism may become the focus in the name of the game in the closing stages of the campaign because, of course, making the playoffs the primary priority over everything else. There's James Sneddon, 19-year-old goalkeeper, someone who's very data-driven, highly analytical about his game, and rapidly improving with each passing year since becoming the lead lad between the sticks in the late stages of last year. Darren Sawatsky's opposite number is the first-year headman, Matt Pullen, someone who engineered so much success during his time in NISA with Chicago House. At one point, led that team on a 15-match unbeaten run. And here with Naples, already set early season records. They set the record for most matches unbeaten in all comps to begin an inaugural season. But since then, a few more ups and downs as that ball is chipped a bit too long for Carson Henderlog. Matt Pullen saying that during that slump where they went just 9 matches with 1 win throughout May and early June, there was some lapses in concentration at the back. Kirkland toward the byline now. And the offside flag raised anyways. There is the danger man to watch. 7 goals to his name this year. Someone who last season trained for 8 months with Richmond before finally inking his first pro contract. Darren Sawatsky said 5 months into that training spell is when he knew he'd be ready for the professional game. He says there's a point where in training an attacking player gets exceptionally productive. Kirkland hit that around that point of his training, and now he says Landon Johnson, who's also in the lineup tonight, has done the same. So indirectly likening the two on my phone call with him this week. Here is Johnson, the 18-year-old. Hit his hand as he tried to maneuver through the sea of white. Very talented, signed last season. This is a kid to watch, making just his 2nd league start. Richmond, a club that prides itself on development and giving younger players opportunities, and case in point with Landon Johnson. Underlong sent to the deck. There is your look at what arguably is the best supporters group in USL League One, the Red Army, which always turns out in full force, and tonight no different. It's always a party out there in Section O. They've got the drums in full force. You wouldn't know that the season's been a bit more up and down than they would have hoped for by the way they celebrate every time they take the pitch at City Stadium. Just approaching the 10-minute threshold here in Richmond. Sam Goldfarb bringing you all of the action. Richmond Kickers side that has not won on this ground since April 9th, has not scored a goal in league play since June 25th. It's been 400 plus minutes in all comps since their last goal. And already taking the fight to Naples in possession. And this is Schenfeld. The seas may have parted here. Schenfeld weaving through traffic, and at the last ask, it is Breck Evans who intervenes. Mazy run this from Schenfeld, who just picks it up and is so tough to track, awkward in his movements. Shakes Dengler, and ultimately it is Evans who just gets his boot in the mix at the last second. This is, once again, though, a very promising start for Richmond. The question is, can they capitalize and turn it into an opener? Just the second ever meeting between these two sides, as we mentioned off the top. Richmond falling 2-1 at FC Naples on April 12th. A match in which they fell behind 2-0 early and never quite recovered. Here's a cross in. Simon Fitch overcooked it for everybody. But in that match, you saw some elite counterattacking ability by Naples on full display. A lovely team goal that led to Carson Henderlong's doubler in that match. Went 2-0 up by 22 minutes. Darwin Espinal scored a pretty good goal of his own in that contest, but never was a true roadmap back for Darren Sawatsky's men in that one. Fortune said about what was the prolonged drought. And now late heroics has allowed them to at least put that on the back burner for the time being, despite what was that 2-1 defeat in their Jägermeister Cup finale with a heavily rotated squad last week. Here's Johnson. Plenty of space for the 18-year-old. Johnson curls it, and it deflects in. Richmond with the early advantage, and it is the 18-year-old with his first professional goal. Well, what a moment for Landon Johnson. And just like that, Richmond 1-0 up inside 13 minutes. Rapid counterattack. He turns Dengler, and then Naples is absolutely stretched at the back. Doesn't quite fake out Evans, but he just shoots it that way, and it deflects very kindly. There is no chance for Delgado, and Richmond off to a flying start. Look what it means to the Chesterfield, Virginia native, an 18-year-old out of the Atlanta United Academy who became the first Academy player to sign a pro contract under Darren Sawatsky last year. Got a little taste of professional action a season ago, now growing into the regular rotation and capping just his second League One start with his first professional goal. And that is exactly what the doctor ordered for Richmond Kickers. What a ball by Griffin Garnett to establish that. It just allows Johnson to turn Dengler as Hinderlong's flick on Sills harmlessly over the crossbar. It is 18-year-old to 18-year-old on that goal for Richmond Kickers. And if that is not the biggest advertisement for their developmental model, I don't know what is. Griffin Garnett, who broke into the 11 at the start of last year out of necessity, more of a natural 6, and made a name for himself. Now a frequent feature in the 11, supplying Landon Johnson, who's trying to replicate the same trajectory. Schenfeld. Snatched back again, and Johnson just a heavy touch. Ryan Bayer was sprinting forward after that. Well, for those just joining us, you've missed a first professional goal for an 18-year-old on just his second League One start. Landon Johnson turning Jake Dengler, an experienced veteran of this league, and albeit aided by a deflection, opens the scoring after just 13 minutes. Bayer, the Tacoma Defiance loanee. This is Kirkland. Definitely is a merited goal by Richmond. A side that is open tonight on the front foot. But we already spoke about the stylistic uniqueness with both these teams. Naples built on their counter-attacking prowess. Richmond themselves love a good counter and a break the other direction. But tonight forced to take the fight to Naples and able to unlock what has been one of the better defenses in the league. And it is a dream start for the Richmond Red Army in full attendance tonight. River City Red Army in full force, packing that into the stadium as they always do. Cerro. Pinged ahead by Matt Glasser, the Nicaraguan youth national team presence. And here's Cerro again. And support in the form of Cisneros, goes himself. Bashes it well wide. Here's Cisneros, the hero at AV Alta a few weeks back. A 1-1 draw in which they were on the back foot for pretty much the entirety of the match. But then again, who isn't, especially in Lancaster when you take on AV Alta? Naples no stranger to playing from behind either. We showed you it off the top. Fell behind early against Westchester. And again, the same at AV Alta, conceding in the second half before finding that equalizer. Late first half goal they conceded, that was. So it's not unfamiliar mountain to climb by any means. Glasser just a step late to catch up to this. Excellent intervention from Schenfeld, who has enjoyed a tremendous opening 20 minutes. Henderlong, Perpa, trying to create space against this Richmond back line, which suddenly was packed into their own penalty area. Cerro. May have caught a parting gift from Maxi Schenfeld. Well, fans, the USL on the CBS Sports Network kicks off in August with a League One Battle of the South. Newcomer FC Naples take on South Georgia Tormenta FC Wednesday, August 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Network. all part of the expanding footprint of the USL and USL League One. Richmond Kickers, no stranger themselves to CBS Sports Network, on the 4th of July last year, winning the Henny Derby at the death. As this is a ball in, decent effort, and ricochets off the side netting as the offside flag was raised anyways. It was on that end of the pitch where Chandler O'Dwyer's towering header provided Richmond Kickers supporters perhaps their favorite memory as Kickers fans. The 100th minute, virtually the last kick of the match on national television. Richmond securing their first Henny Derby Series victory since 2021. Schenfeld. Cerro dispossesses him, and the referee says play on. Heckenberg, one of the most composed sixes in the entirety of this league. Dankler floats it wide towards Farine. Herpa. O'Dwyer, a bit of space. Unable to thread it through to Kirkland, though. When you evaluate Richmond's shape, it seems to be rather flexible, but in many respects, looks more of the part of a three-back in possession, with both Schenfeld and Fitch as proper wing-backs. And that makes sense when you look at the personnel. Clyde is not a natural right-back by any means. So it at least suits the skill set of Darren Sawatsky's players better, and now that they're leading, can park more numbers behind the ball as well. Probably more counterproof in addition to that. Midway through the first half, Landon Johnson's 12th minute opener is what makes the difference. An excellent finish, deflected off of Breck Evans, which put Richmond in front. And here is Johnson. It's a decent link-up play, but overcooked for Josh Kirkland. There is your first proper look at Lalo Delgado tonight, who's been a man under fire thus far. Not a common theme of this season. Someone who played for Northern Colorado for 2 years. Set the league record for single-season clean sheets in 2023 before earning an all-league second-team nod last year. It was a Hailstorm team that finished the year second in the table before falling to Spokane Velocity in the quarterfinals in upset fashion. And Delgado making the move to Naples to join this expansion project. Himself and Breck Evans, familiar defensive partners, a Naples team that has invested considerably in building its back line, and that fits Matt Poland's blue-collar philosophy, is what he calls it. He is built on the solidity of their back line and their physicality, and then from there, he says the attack comes from their defense. Early on in this season, you saw the formula on full display. As we mentioned, in the summertime, he's mentioned slight lapses in concentration by his back line that they've had to address just due to the fact that there's a sheer concentration of matches right now. He feels they're growing, but he said growth is not always linear. It comes in waves, and you can't choose when the learning moments occur. But you can take them in stride and adapt, and he is proud with the mentality of his group and how they've responded to more adversity than they would have hoped for in the month of June especially. Cerro pinging this ahead to Farine, but well beyond the reach of everybody on that far side. Fans watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish-language sports network, for 2 upcoming matches. Monterey Bay FC face off against FC Tulsa Wednesday, August 6th at 10 p.m. Eastern, and Lexington SC battle Phoenix Rising on Saturday, August 9th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. At the midway point of this first half. Right now, Richmond Kickers off to a positive start as they hunt their first league victory. since late June. A team that had won just one of its prior 11 league matches despite their fast start to the campaign. Since then, at least to open this match, you wouldn't be able to tell. Already snapping what was a goal drought that persisted for nearly 415 minutes and continuing to boss things since. Bayer, loaned from Tacoma Defiance in June, former 28th overall pick in this year's MLS Super Draft, but struggling to get minutes at the MLS Next Pro level, and has been an integral part of this Richmond midfield since signing. Here he is on it right now, looking to play it through to Johnson. It is a much needed intervention from Dangler, but it does go out for Richmond's first corner. And it is right in front of a capacity Red Army. These are the moments where the atmosphere can sometimes wear on teams. Maxi Schenfeld is something of a corner kick specialist, and one of his patented in-swinging deliveries awaits. Hooking towards the near post. It is stabbed away. Cerro does the job. Johnson does just enough to keep possession of it. Garnett, now Barnathan. A rare foray forward from him. Decent cross as well. Took a fortuitous hop off of the oncoming forward, but a foul committed in the process anyways. Inviting cross this. It's just overhit though for Kirkland, and Clyde Chella may have caught the defender on the follow through. Breck Evans is still slow to return to his feet. Well, now that we have a brief breather, it's time to take a look at some of the standout moments from last week in USL League One. How about our goal of the week and save of the week?
Hernandez, the point of origin, onto the left foot! My, what a strike! Omar Hernandez bends the line with a left-footed blast and makes it 1-0.
Elias versus Jason Smith. Elias denied! Big stop by the first-year pro, and what a season it continues to be for Jason Smith.
We welcome you back into City Stadium. That was your look around USL League One, where it is a rather temperate evening, 75 degrees, nice light breeze in Richmond, Virginia, and at the moment, the home support will be quite thrilled with the scoreline, a 1-0 lead for Richmond, courtesy of Landon Johnson's first professional goal in the 12th minute. As you see, Breck Evans awaiting to re-enter after a coming together with Clyde Chella on that break forward, and he is more than content to continue. You'd expect nothing less from an Iron Man at the back alongside Jake Dangler. Those two rarely leave the pitch in league play. Right now, Darren Sawatsky will be pleased with what he's seen. He mentioned it's not necessarily time to be pragmatic just yet. He says they still feel they can win matches while delivering an attractive product on the pitch. And tonight, they have done so through half an hour. They've left that man on an island for large spells. Carson Henderlong with maybe 3 touches of it, all with no support around him. You know, with him, he can pop up given one touch of it in a dangerous position and ruin your night. As he has already done to Richmond this year. Over the top for Cerro. Space to curl this. High and always going wide. But that, Naples' first actual potential moment of attacking danger of this first half. Well, you see him cut inside here. Just tries to wrap his boot around it and gets underneath it too much. Was intending to pick out the top left corner. But Ian Cerro at least has popped up in some dangerous spots to keep Richmond honest. It's been the brightest bulb for Naples in what has otherwise been a rather underwhelming first half, I'm sure Matt Pullen would say. Still time, though, to rectify things. Torres. A young star in the center of the park for FC Naples. Heckenberg. This is Cisneros. Now Farine. Henderlong. Starting to knock it about with more confidence, but Richmond pounces, and this is Johnson trying to take on the entire defense by himself, it seems. Just unable to bypass Jake Dangler, but it does go out for what potentially could be another corner, and instead just a goal kick. Number 7 in red has been nothing short of excellent through 30 minutes for Richmond. Yes, he was aided by the deflection on his goal, but it's been a bundle of energy on the front line alongside Kirkland. It is an interesting clash of two sides tonight. Of course, Richmond, the longest continuously tenured professional soccer club in the United States, a team that's existed since 1993, has played anywhere from the 2nd to 4th tiers of USL soccer. US soccer, I should say. And they've bounced around the USL as well. Were initially in USL Pro before moving down to League One ahead of the inaugural season. It's been an interesting series of ups and downs the last few years, but historically one of the prouder clubs with so many accomplishments, be it league trophies, even making an Open Cup quarterfinals once as well. Cisneros loses out, and Farine has won a corner for Naples. It is a Richmond side that is the only 4th tier team to win the US Open Cup. They did it in 1995. And what a moment that was for a club that has been steeped in history ever since. Hackenberg, an in-swing to the near post. Johnson wins that second ball. Darren Sawatsky has taken the mantle of upholding that historical value. Someone who was appointed after the disappointing 2019 season and has overall done a marvelous job. Won a Players' Shield title with this Richmond team in 2022 and led them back to the promised land of the postseason despite a tumultuous 2024 campaign. This season is just hoping to accomplish a similar feat. When they got off to the start they did with 3 wins in the first 5 league matches, many probably thought this is a team that would linger around the top 6 to top 4 for large spells of the year, but the defensive lapses that occurred in the early stages have persisted. It's forced them to go back to the drawing board a little bit, but you can never count Richmond out, especially as you start to move towards the business end of the season like we are, when they tend to churn out results better than almost anyone else with postseason places on the line. It hasn't always been pretty the last 2 years, but it's largely resulted in postseason contention. Kirkland sent down and a referee is unmoved. Just out for a Richmond throw. He's incensed on the far side. Here he is again along the byline. Just cutting it back for Johnson and off the mark on his cross. It's net in well out of his goal now. Inside the final 10 minutes of this first half. Just the Landon Johnson 12th minute opener separating these two sides, although Naples has shown some signs of life the last 10 minutes. Overall, though, it has been largely one-way traffic on the possession front, especially where the possession is concentrated. Torres manages to keep this in play. Heard only as far as Max Glasser, former Monterey Bay man. Cerro. Is there a final plot twist before the break? Or will this go swimmingly for Richmond through 45? Cerro linking well with Perpa. This is a clever move from Naples. Escorted wide now. Dinked into the area and just beyond the reach of Henderlong. But that a much more promising eyebrow-raising spell from Naples. They knock it about with so much confidence. Maybe the lad on the far side caught between two minds here, trying to thread it through to Henderlong, but ultimately couldn't reach him. Mark Torres and Luca Perpa all involved in that action. We've already talked about Richmond's long, proud, storied history. How about FC Naples, a team that built from the ground up in the span of the last couple years? Not even announced as an official club in USL until January of 2024. But they themselves carry on a legacy of their own. They're the first ever pro soccer team in the Naples area. It's just a town of around 20,000 people that was located 2 hours from the nearest pro squad. But Matt Poland himself, who's a Marco Island native, has taken on the responsibility of building a team this town can be proud of. Schenfeld flashing that across the face and no one there to greet it. Matt Point himself has mentioned that this is a city that turns out well in full force. Henderlong may have just been booked there. But he wants to build a team that will bring the whole community out. As you get another look at this, it is Henderlong who runs right into Clyde. And the leading striker for FC Naples is at least walking the tightrope for the remainder of this contest. Rogelio Alvarez's ire. Chance for Richmond to ping in a set piece. Fitch. Dwyer was hunting Kirkland and ultimately finds him in circuitous fashion. Kirkland's cross, charged away by Dangler. Well, you look at the numbers right now, and it is a 51-49 possession split, but I think the quality of possession definitely leans Richmond's way. A team that also is leading considerably on XG at the moment, although neither team with a very high value there. Here's Clyde Chella. He's already a Richmond folk hero in many respects. He scored the goal which sealed their qualification to the playoffs a year ago. He's on the penultimate match day of the season, a 2-1 victory in come-from-behind fashion over Chattanooga Red Wolves in what was a massive six-pointer at the time. Clyde Chella roaming forward from center back to score the winner in that one. Kirkland, that's well done. And the cross far too tight on the touchline. Inside the final 5 minutes of this first half. It is the lone early strike from Landon Johnson which sees Richmond in front. Glasser's looking to change that though, and has some space on the near side. Cuts it across to Henderlong, and he just overcooks it. Got far too underneath it. Great interchange here. Garnett's caught out, takes a very unfortunate hop off his back, and then acres of space to cross. It is pinpoint, but the awkward hop off the grass is what maybe throws Henderlong off, and he can't quite get his boot over it. That, though, definitely Naples' best chance so far. There are signs of life for Naples as we inch closer to intermission. Starting to find some soft spots in this Richmond defense on the counter. Matt Pullen saying we know where they're vulnerable, we just have to exploit it. And through 40 minutes, not enough actual time spent in dangerous positions on the ball to be able to do so, but you see them gaining comfort as this wears on. Probably slightly surprised by the shape they're playing against as well, to be fair. It's not a Richmond team known for a three-back by any means. Here's Farine's cross, arcing towards the back post. Cerro has enough width to run it down. And now Glasser. Perpa. Spraying it to the far side and well beyond Cisneros' reach. It has been an entertaining one so far. Not necessarily end-to-end. Richmond's done well to be able to manage this, at least between the 18s, while still causing trouble with fast breaks. And they've done that all while possessing a good share of the ball in the dangerous positions, but not necessarily overrunning anyone and buying into Naples' counterattacking strategy. So far, Darren Sawatsky has at least towed the line very well. He's not playing into Naples' hands too much. In many respects, playing with the ball is what plays into Naples' hands. So Dwyer is penalized for holding back Cisneros. There is your look at last season's top scorer for Richmond kickers. Got off to a flying start to this year as well. Had 3 goals in the first 8 matches, but no goals in his last 8 league appearances since. Cisneros' cross, and Naples finally has a corner to their name. At least got Richmond somewhat uncomfortable defensively now. Chris Heckenberg will get a bite at the apple. with in-swing. Dangler gets his head to it. Stabbed away by Lodge. Only as far as Torres, though. Now Cerro. Heckenberg. And Cerro sent tumbling at the end of that interchange, and the first yellow card shown to a Richmond player. It's Ryan Bayer. This presents Naples with a very inviting set-piece position. See them navigate out of tight spaces so well here. Bayer slides in. He doesn't make a lot of contact on Ian Cerro, but perhaps catches him on the follow-through, and that's what draws our referee into action and sets up Naples with a very appetizing set-piece in first-half stoppage time. They are not shy about training ground routines from these scenarios. Remember, against Westchester 3 weeks ago, it was a training ground routine that allowed Onan the space and runway required to equalize. So you wouldn't put it past them to try something cheeky. Got Farine, Cerro, and Henderlong in the immediate vicinity at the moment. And it will just be Farine standing over it. Curls it towards goal. Charged away, and now Cisneros. No one there in white to greet it. Schenfeld is now slow to get up for Richmond. It's definitely a concerning sight. Someone who's already missed a fair few matches with injury this year and just returning back the last month or so. You've already seen the life he provides going forward for Richmond on that left-hand side. "32-year-old out of Chile. Joined Richmond last season after spending 2023 in the Arena Soccer League with Harrisburg Heat. He won his 4th season of USL League One football, sandwiching that stint in the MASL. At least we'll try to walk this off. Richmond players warming up. And you just wonder as we inch closer to the second half if we will see Maxi Schenfeld reemerge. Someone who was making his 11th league start of the season tonight, but as we've already mentioned, did miss the final 3 matches of June in all comps with injury. So it has not exactly been smooth sailing this summer for him. As of now, at least seems to try to want to walk this off. See how much time the referee adds on between now and halftime. And Schenfeld is back out there, so a welcome sight for Richmond supporters. One of their brighter performers looks content to continue. Torres, and now Farine. One of the best one-on-one threats on this Naples side, and running at 2 Richmond defenders. Sneddon may have done just enough to keep that in play, and that he did. Well beyond the 3 minutes of added time now. O'Dwyer. Over the top to Landon Johnson, who is onside. Read well by Farine. Henderlong. What can Naples conjure here? Farine. Broken up brilliantly by O'Dwyer. And there is the halftime whistle. A strong first half performance by Richmond Kickers sees them enter halftime with a 1-0 lead. That man, Landon Johnson, at 18 years of age, scoring his first professional goal in the 12th minute. And the River City Red Army is definitely enjoying what they've seen thus far. Richmond Kickers in line potentially to notch just their second league win since April, but still 45 minutes left to see this out. On our halftime show presented by Simplicity VoIP, the score is Richmond 1, FC Naples 0. Landon Johnson, the difference maker in the opening 45 minutes, but still plenty to negotiate here if the Kickers are to secure a victory. Stick with us. Lineup halftime show next on ESPN+.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secours, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secours, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecours.com/primary care to connect with the provider today.
Back here in Richmond, we're at halftime presented by Simplicity VoIP. The score is Richmond 1, FC Naples 0. A very strong first half for the Richmond Kickers. Well, it is a historic weekend in USL League One, the 1,000th match transpiring later tonight. And let's look back at some of the standout moments over the last 7 years.
It is a milestone 7 years in the making. USL League One is about to stage its 1,000th match, and no one has played in more of those matches than Greenville Triumph defender Evan Lee.
163 league appearances. How cool is that to be a part of that history?
It's really cool. I think it's things like that that you think about growing up, and when you can find a good club in Greenville like I have, and a good league that is healthy and growing, it's really cool to be a part of.
You guys were the inaugural match, and everything was going fine until you had the defender's worst nightmare. You were stuck, the only guy left on a 2-on-1. What do you remember about that moment in the first League One game?
Not being very much fun in that moment. But what I do really remember is obviously being disappointed in the result for us, but excited the league had kicked off, and excited that we were able to take Alex Morel, the first ever goal scorer, and bring him over to Greenville the next season. So that's really what I remember from it.
Lee and the Triumph have seen plenty of big moments. There was Liam McKinnon's 4-goal showing against Chattanooga Red Wolves in 2023. The year before, a 5-5 10-goal draw against South Georgia Tormenta. So good, they now call it the Peach States Derby. Speaking of derbies, the Henny Derby between Forward Madison and Richmond Kickers finished League One's first ever CBS SN match in grand fashion.
The Richmond Kickers win the Henny Derby!
From Madison's Snopener to Union Omaha's season points record in 2023, League One is writing history one match at a time.
You got Ronaldinho with a shovel in the dirt, getting ready to get a stadium going here. Has this come together better than you thought?
Definitely. Because again, when you come to a new team, you're not really sure. And it's easy to throw buzzwords around and say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But to see the club try to push forward and actually make some progress in these things is really good. That goes to show how serious the league is, and that's all we can ask for at the end of the day.
Well, there is your look back at the last 7 years in USL League One. Here at halftime, a 1-0 scoreline in favor of Richmond Kickers. It's now time to get a look at the experience presented by El Jimador Spike Bebidas, which is a video docuseries that shows the history, passion, and community of USL clubs and their supporter groups. The latest is an episode showcasing Rhode Island FC and their support group Defiance 1636. It is available now on youtube.com/USL. Check it out.
We want to be the loudest people around. We want you to hear where we are at. No one thought we would do what we did against Louisville.
We were hot, we were clicking, we were scoring goals.
Even after the whistle blew and they were champions, forget about it. Raise your scarves, we kept playing. I don't think I've heard a louder scream from a group of people than we did that night. That's the important thing about this group. They never stop loving their team.
Prinks Tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines, from early mornings to late nights, from fun with friends to winner takes all, from the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks Tires will be there for the long haul.
On the ground, stepping Cisnero!
For Reed Steven! Tormenta is in front!
Whoa, termites can eat a pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
Pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
We would not have a business today if it weren't for the support of the many, many people within the Richmond community. To me, we're working as a team to enhance the quality of life for all residents.
It's about being the best that you can be. It's about enriching the lives of people in your community. There's a reason why we have the tagline Nourish, because it's really about nourishing the lives of the people that work for us and the people that we serve. That's what the UCrops brand stands for.
We welcome you back to City Stadium. We're at halftime, presented by Simplicity VoIP. Richmond Kickers lead 1-0 over FC Naples. These fans seem to be enjoying what they're seeing so far here in Richmond. It's now time to take a look around USL League One on a historic weekend for the entire competition. And let's start with our scores from around the league. Right now, a number of matches ongoing or completed. The only match done is Forward Madison, a scoreless draw with AV Alta in what would have been a very heavily possession-oriented game. And then other scores in halftime: Charlotte, a 2-1 advantage over Texoma, Knoxville, a 1-0 lead over Portland, and right now, Greenville trailing in the Peach State Derby. That is your look at the current matches right now. And then the matches upcoming for tonight and the remainder of the weekend. Of course, the 10 p.m. match, Spokane-Omaha. The rematch of last year's USL League One final is the 1,000th match in USL League One. And then on Wednesday, a CBS Sports Network clash between Naples and South Georgia Tormenta. A short week for FC Naples as they head home to a national televised match. Around the league, plenty of news going. We've already mentioned the League One final rematch that is the 1,000th match. And how about Greenville, the only League One team to progress to the quarterfinals of the Jägermeister Cup? And finally, another team joining the USL League One family next year in USL Eugene. Before we go to break, we would be remiss if we do not pause to remember our friend and colleague John Kochel, who passed away Thursday evening following a courageous 9-year battle with brain cancer. Despite countless surgeries and treatments, John embraced life every day with a passion and love that lit up every room he walked into. A valued member of the USL HQ staff since 2015, he will be forever remembered for his big smile, contagious laugh, and his deep love for his family. John is survived by his wife and son. He was just 39 years old. We will step aside briefly.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got, game-winning interception, first down, just a nice solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Hey, I'm Watson. Welcome to the Compliment Barber Show. Come on in.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secours, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secours, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecours.com/primary care to connect with the provider today.
We welcome you back to City Stadium, where at halftime, presented by Simplicity VoIP, Richmond Kickers holds a 1-0 advantage over FC Naples. And speaking of that first half, how about we get a look back at the standout moments of what was a very strong performance by Richmond Kickers, a deserved 1-0 lead after 45 minutes, and it got off to a very fast start. Maxi Schenfeld creating havoc as we take a look at our halftime highlights presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. And then in the 12th minute, Landon Johnson opening the scoring. He turns Jake Dangler with expertise, and then he has a free patch of grass roaming forward, trying to curl it with the inside of his boot. Instead deflects very fortunately off of Breck Evans' leg and into the back of the net for his first professional goal to give Richmond the advantage. What a moment for the 18-year-old. And then from there, a number of more chances mounted. Naples did create a few half chances that at least caused some trouble. Carson Henderlong and company getting into dangerous positions, this time bashing it off the side netting. And then in the 37th minute, Naples knocked this about rather nicely. A long-range effort that nearly crept into Henderlong's path, but narrowly beyond his reach. And then finally, Max Glasser creating some trouble. This their best chance of the opening 45. A perfect cross, but takes an awkward hop, and Carson Henderlong unable to put it on frame. Here is your look at the halftime stats. Oddly enough, Naples is winning the possession battle, despite Richmond probably having the better of the ball in dangerous spaces. Naples also out shooting Richmond, but Richmond slightly more clinical. Their lone shot on goal Landon Johnson's opener. Chances at a premium in that first half, but it was still a rather entertaining battle between these two sides. Well, we are back now and just about set to get underway for the second half. For Richmond Kickers, an opportunity to notch what would be its first home league victory since April 9th. In fact, their last 2 league victories have come over Union Omaha. Since then, have not been triumphant at City Stadium. Hoping to rectify that with their first win in nearly 4 months on this ground. We are back underway. Sam Goldfarb bringing you all of the action the rest of the way. Will it be Richmond that finally gets off the schneid win-wise, or will Naples flip this on its head again with late drama? There is one sub presented by Publix. Darwin Espinal back after a 6-match absence in all competitions. He replaces Landon Johnson, the lone goal scorer, who enjoyed a very memorable first half. That substitution presented once again by Publix. This is knocked over the top for Espinal. Remember, at the time of his injury, had scored 6 goals in league play. Individual creators in the league, and he is not shy about uncorking from long range. He was in some vein of form before his injury, which occurred in a match against Knoxville that was called off after just 30 minutes. Himself and Neil Soyford went down in that match with injury. Darren Sawatsky mentioning how frustrating it was in June for them to play on a pitch that he felt they probably should have never played on, and then him to lose 2 of his most valuable attacking contributors. But now, both gradually working their way back into the fold. Espinal once again is back. And here he is on it. He'll lose out to what appears to be Cisneros on the far side. If you're FC Naples, it would have been an interesting team talk at halftime for Matt Pullen, because not a lot of decision. We want to play with the ball at our feet, but we can't afford to sacrifice the pace of our buildup or our counterattacks in doing so, because that allows our opposing defenses to cover less ground effectively to be able to keep teams out. We need to force them to cover more ground and play more direct. We'll see if that changes. Here is Espinal driving it towards goal. It deflects off of Dangler. Back for Barnathan. Fitch, the reigning all-league second-team fullback from a season ago. Schenfeld. Very strong start to that first half. Did have the slight injury scare. So far, so good for that man, Darren Sawatsky. Dressed to the nines tonight, as he tends to be for Richmond Kickers home matches. It was a very, very strong first half. No doubt about it. I'm sure he would have been hoping for slightly more cutting edge in the final third, as Sneddon ran into a slight bit of trouble there from Henderlong. Now the question is, can they keep this up over 90 minutes? Remember, these are the comeback kids, FC Naples. Back-to-back matches with goals in the final 10 minutes that have either powered them to victory or salvaged a draw, in league play at least. Got hit with the inverse fate in their Jägermeister Cup finale against Greenville. Conceded on opposite ends of halftime after taking the early lead. They've had a much different squad to the one you see on the pitch tonight. It is interesting, this identity of this Richmond team. Darren Sawatsky, each week, whenever you talk to him on the phone, is quick to mention that they fancy themselves a club that not only develops, but revitalizes careers, takes players who may be struggling at previous destinations and turns them into true weapons. Here is a weapon in Cisneros for Naples. Still dribbling through traffic. Goes back to Torres now. Perpa curling it towards goal. just knuckled above the crossbar, but not a bad effort by any means. There's a warning shot from Naples. You see Perpa pick this up in the half space, puts his laces through it, and it knuckles very menacingly. James Sneddon rather fortunate that that was not dipping, otherwise that would have been trouble. But on the subject of Richmond, Darren Sawatsky has said the likes of Emiliano Terzaghi, a player who spent so much time in the lower leagues in his native Argentina and was frankly burned out with the game, moved to the United States and moved to Richmond, and he is the telltale story that Sawatsky likes to tell about a player that has completely flipped the trajectory of his professional aspirations around. He's become the league's all-time leading goal scorer since joining in 2020. Darren Sawatsky has unlocked him and a number of others. As you see Emmy warming up, he's referred to as El Rey around these parts, which means king in Spanish. And he is the goal-scoring king in USL League One, although has not scored in league play since March 22nd. Scored a brace against AB Alta, his only 2 goals in league play this season. Has battled some injuries since that point. Cisneros is down. It's been a physical affair, this. See Barnathan just goes through the back of Cisneros' leg there. Maybe fortunate to avoid a whistle from our official. If you're just joining us, we welcome you into City Stadium on a beautiful night in Richmond, Virginia. 1-0 advantage for Richmond Kickers over FC Naples. The second ever meeting between these two teams. Landon Johnson scoring in the 12th minute. His first professional goal is what makes the difference. As things stand, Richmond would be in line to notch their first league victory since June 25th, which was a 4-3 win at Union Omaha. They've won just twice since March 22nd in league play. They have been dangerous. Bayer ushers it along to Simon Fitch in a bit of space. Low cross in, just behind the oncoming Bear. Maybe some numbers the other way for Naples. Cerro. Cisneros. First time cross. Stabbed away to the edge of the area. Still deflected around. Evans ushering it to Henderlong, to the back post to Farine, and just bashed it over the bar. A massive chance that goes begging this. Well, this was maybe the chance. Cisneros gets it kick-started. A lovely cross. It falls rather kindly to Torres. And they just keep pinging it around until finally Henderlong is able to just shove it over to Farid, who had a clear runway and just got underneath it with far too much power. Andres Farid, the goal scorer of FC Naples' first ever goal in team history. Sneddon off his line now. Handled that rather well, to be fair. Space to run into on the break. Perpa. Cerro. Naples starting to reestablish a foothold. You saw signs of them growing into the match over the course of the first half. Now they are truly the aggressor since the restart. Heckenberg gets another crack at things. With in-swing. Dangerous ball towards Dengler. Got his head to it. Still not dealt with. And Henderlong unable to keep it in play. Fan soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. There is not a bad seat in the house at City Stadium as Espinal turns on the afterburners. Nearly threaded it through to Josh Kirkland, and that would have been a dangerous sight for Lalo Delgado and company. Offside flag is raised against Richmond. A bit to manage for our official tonight. He's already booked Ryan Bayer as well as Carson Henderlong, Rogelio Alvarez, but otherwise a rather well-contested match. It's been physical, but definitely nothing out of the ordinary. Cerro overcooks it for Cisneros. One back here. Torres chipping it across to Purpa. Low driver, and it's in! Naples has equalized! Luca Purpa on the score sheet, and the lead neutralized in one fell swoop. An excellent bit of interplay, winning it back, and Purpa with the final clinical blow. Richmond 1, Naples 1. Well, this is excellent. Naples struggling to build out. Torres with the initial intervention and then just plays it back across to Purpa, who takes it at the second touch. Sneddon gets a hand to it, but his vision clearly impaired. And Luca Purpa with a second league goal, aided by a couple of fortunate deflections, but does the job to make it 1-1. And Naples is right back in it now. Luca Purpa spent 2 years with Chicago Fire too, but someone who has played in the USL ranks with the likes of Hartford Athletic in USL Championship. Now in USL League One, has been a promising sight for Naples throughout the year. Goal number 3 in all comps. Luca Purpa, a former 34th overall pick in the 2020 MLS Super Draft on the score sheet. Well, Fan Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big league, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Luca Purpa moments ago equalizing for FC Naples to pull them back level. The 27-year-old out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who made 55 career USL Championship appearances before a stint in MLS Next Pro with Chicago Fire 2. But now back in the USL ranks and a danger to opposing defenses once again. Now a set piece for Naples, just shy of the hour mark. Heckenberg hooks it in. Evans got a touch to it, and the referee has pointed to the spot. How about this for a turn of events? Yellow card shown as well to Chandler O'Dwyer. Let's get another look. Tugging at the jersey, and it hits O'Dwyer's hand. Breck Evans immediately shouting for handball. O'Dwyer's hand definitely in an unnatural position. It is hard to dispute that. And just like that, after equalizing seconds ago, FC Naples a chance to pull in front from 12 yards. Andres Farine, the go-to penalty taker, stands over this. 3 goals to his name this season. It is an FC Naples squad that has converted all 3 of its previous league attempts from 12 yards. Farine against Sneddon in a pivotal moment in this one. And he misses! Jaw-dropping! He had Sneddon rooted to his line. A Hazard penalty, just tries to put it in the far corner and he misses wide. The sure-footed Farine leaves one begging at the spot, and we are still level. Now he's on it again. Schenfeld. Aspinall. What can Richmond conjure? Into O'Dwyer. And still O'Dwyer! Excellent stop! And out of play for what should be a corner. What a chance this was. O'Dwyer does well to fake Evans out, tries for the far corner. An excellent save by Delgado. And ultimately takes the final touch off Heckenberg. What a turn of events that would have been. From a missed penalty that O'Dwyer conceded to what nearly was the go-ahead tally. Simon Fitch to deliver this set piece. To the heart of the area. Farine running it free. And plenty of options for Naples. Perpa knocked ahead. Henderlong is through on goal, and he finishes. Would you expect any other outcome? Naples in front. An 8th of the year for Carson Henderlong to keep pace in the Golden Boot race. And he will never miss a chance that simple. A 5-star counter. This is Naples' bread and butter in a nutshell. Ushered right to Henderlong, who just rolls it underneath Sneddon. A pure... Any momentum from the missed penalty has been eradicated by Carson Henderlong's 64th minute strike. The native of Valparaiso, Indiana, who excelled in college during his time at Xavier in Indiana, struggled in his initial pro season with Indy 11 and USL Championship, could not break into the side with just 5 appearances all year long. But what a revelation he has been for FC Naples. And now Richmond forced into changes. It is Neil Seufert who returns from his 2-match injury absence and replaces Chandler O'Dwyer. An attack-minded change that certainly is. Naples also making a change themselves. Well, how about that? A missed penalty by Andres Farine in the 61st. Carson Henderlong delivering 3 later on a 5. Neil Seufert replaces Chandler O'Dwyer. That substitution is brought to you by Publix. Also, Tyler Pasnick in for Andres Farine, a like-for-like swap. Aspinall loses out this time to Torres. Well, if you are just joining us, buckle up because this has been a very lively second half. City Stadium at Richmond, Virginia. Sam Goldfarb bringing you all of the action. Richmond led 1-0 about 10 minutes ago. Luca Perpa equalizing in the 58th. A missed penalty by Andres Farine 3 minutes after that. And then 3 minutes following that, Carson Henderlong capping off a sweeping counterattack to put Naples in front. 2 goals and a missed penalty in 7 minutes. And Matt Poland has seen his side's fortunes shift dramatically. And the smile now evident on his face. Maybe a bit wry, but I don't think he'll be complaining about the series of events that has just taken place. Penderlong flicking it back now to Purpa, the initial goal scorer for Naples. And he's done enough. No, he hasn't. It appeared he had done enough to win a corner. Back to the drawing board now for Richmond. They have been punched in the face by Naples' unyielding resilience, which has been on full display over the course of the last month or so. Coming from behind to topple Westchester, earning a hard-fought draw at AV Alta, and now coming from behind to take the lead at Richmond. Seufert, the substitute, runs right into Mark Torres. And I got good news for all of you. We still have 25 minutes-ish to play. So there's no signs of this one slowing down. Now Richmond forced to throw caution to the wind after such a strong opening 45 minutes. They still have a goal scorer in the form of Emiliano Terzaghi on the subs bench. So more aces up Darren Sawatsky's sleeve to potentially deploy. Kirkland shrugged over, and the referee is unmoved by that tackle. And now he's a bit banged up after that interchange. This is not a sight any Richmond fan will want to see. Their leading goal scorer, Josh Kirkland, who's led the line all evening, is down in a considerable bit of discomfort here. The leg right through the back from Jake Tangler. He may have a case to appeal for a free kick here. It's definitely left him worse for wear, to say the least. That man has some recalculation to do, and he's calling over his side, trying to keep them from withering. He said to me on the phone, when the going gets tough, you either man up or you wither away. And we don't plan on withering away over the final 3 months of this season. They'll have to flex their resilience here in the closing stages. That man's side has already done that. Pull inside, pulling off one of the counter-attacking goals of the year. A sweeping move, a symphony of a move, if you will. It's been a tremendous season for FC Naples in the early stages, and they have a number of players that have gotten monthly considerations. Now let's take a look at our Player of the Month nominees for July.
Taylor Gray harassed, turnover, Omaha in front, Betcher gets around, gets a shot, and a response! Walmer Martinez dashes free, it's still Martinez! Martinez rips it, oh my goodness!
Robles is through, this is, go Robles! One was Titus Washington at Portland Hearts and Pine. Got underway a bit faster than expected here. 70 minutes gone here from City Stadium in Richmond. A 2-1 advantage to FC Naples, which flipped the match on its head within 5 minutes. Trailed 1-0 around the 55-minute mark. By the 65-minute mark, 2-1 to the good, with a missed penalty in the mix. It has been a chaotic start to this second half, to say the least. Espinal left it dangling. Here's Kirkland, who is back on the pitch after going down moments ago and now sent tumbling to the deck once again. This time he appeared to catch it on the foot rather than his leg. He'll walk it off though. Pasnick, his first real touch of it since subbing on. Henderlong in a wrestling match with Marcelo Lage. Bayard. Schenfeld. So dangerous in the opening 25 minutes. He's seen his influence wane a bit over the course of the remaining 55 or so. Schenfeld. This is Richmond side that, as we mentioned, has battled so many issues defensively this year. The third most goals allowed in the league entering tonight. Once again conceding multiple. Now another chance potentially brewing for Naples. This one dealt with more admirably by the Kickers' defense. Fitch, now with room to bomb upfield. Looking ahead to Kirkland. Kirkland is in! An excellent intervention from Breck Evans. Times his tackle to perfection. For a moment, it was gaping for Josh Kirkland. What a ball this is from Simon Fitch. Had the goal at his mercy, but Breck Evans closes the gap so well. Bayer. Heckenberg steps. And now Heckenberg turns on the Jets. Henderlong. Heckenberg again. Schenfeld. And this is Espinal, always a threat whenever he touches it. Seufert. Fitch. We inch towards the final 15 minutes, and the match still hangs on a knife edge. Schenfeld, decent cross that's stabbed away by Dangler. Falls to the edge of the area. Now Henderlong for Naples. Play on, says our referee. Fans can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM-FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM-FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Fantastic one brewing here in the River City. Richmond led 1-0 as recently as the 57th minute. Luca Perpa pulled Naples level with a lovely finish in the 58th, and Carson Henderlong capping off one of the counter-attacking goals of the year in the 63rd to put Naples in front after Andres Farine stunningly missed a penalty 2 minutes prior. It has been a lively second stanza. Fitch looking for Kirkland just beyond his reach. Cisneros. One of two Loyola Chicago products on this FC Naples squad, part of those Chicago ties Matt Poland has. Schenfeld, a physical tackle. Espinal left it dangling for just a second. Question is, does Richmond have a magical moment in its arsenal? So often struggled to salvage results after going behind. Espinal tries on his left, just over the goal. Not a bad effort, though, and you love the initiative from someone who they have sorely missed. Ushered her well into his path. No one closes him down, and he just has a pop on that left foot. But unable to keep it underneath the crossbar. One more sub for Richmond as they continue to twist the screws. It is Guy Franca who enters the fray for Marcelo Lage. A change in the heart of defense. Franca, someone who's bounced in and out of the lineup all year. Back off the bench here this evening after starting last week. Fitch. Barnathan letting it run. Torrea snatches it off him. One more change as well. Adrian Billhart, who has missed a considerable period of time this year, replacing Josh Kirkland. He's only been back from a prolonged absence the last few weeks or so. So 2 changes. Billhart for Kirkland, Lage out for Franca. Both substitutions are presented by Publix as Richmond desperately seeks an equalizer, trying to avoid a 5th consecutive defeat in all competitions. A team that had been outscored 10-0 in its prior 4 games. Torres marshalling the midfield. And an instant yellow card shown after that tackle. Kevin O'Connor now for FC Naples, looking to shore things up. A defensive-minded change in place of their initial goal scorer, Luca Perpa. That substitution also presented by Publix. O'Connor, a former veteran of Irish and English football. Someone who's 30 years of age with plenty of professional playing experience. Opened the year in the 11, but a reserve this evening as he replaces Luca Perpa, whose goal kick-started this entire comeback. Look out for O'Connor. He's a threat on set pieces with his size and also his ability to play tantalizing balls into the area. Heckenberg and Cerro in the vicinity. Cerro arcing it. Contact to it by Dangler, but committed a foul in the process. Hearing word Emiliano Terzaghi is making his way to the touchline, about to enter for what will be Ryan Bayer, so a very attack-minded swap in the offing. Barnathan skips one challenge and does win this free kick. And now the substitution will occur. Emiliano Terzaghi, the league's all-time leading goal scorer for Richmond Kickers, has 10 minutes to make a difference. Someone who scored 58 goals in USL League One competition, a 3-time MVP and Golden Boot winner, enters to a loud roar, and he replaces Ryan Bayer with Richmond desperately chasing a result. Someone who has not scored since March 22nd. In that match, though, he scored a midfield goal that will forever live in Richmond lore. Schenfeld hooking it towards the back post. Falls to the edge of the area. Espinal hit it first time, but didn't hit it accurately. It's been a bright showing for him in his return to the pitch. You see him hit this first time on the half volley. Unable, though, to put it on frame. That's been the biggest issue for Richmond. A lot of decent-looking opportunities that haven't stung the palms of Delgado. We are well within the final 10 now. Time waning rapidly on Richmond. Espinal. Terzaghi in some space, and now running at the defense. He's looking for Espinal. Heckenberg broke it up though. Now Henderlong. Excellent recovery from Clyde. Maybe a stressful final 10 minutes for Darren Sawatsky. His side has played well enough to merit a result. I'm sure he'd feel that way as well. Unable to create anything notable after their opener. And they've fallen victim to two well-taken opportunities by Naples in a much stronger second. Schenfeld lofting it forward. Here is Espinal. Very well done by Julian Cisneros. He has completely neutralized him there. Espinal trying to take him one-on-one, goes for the nifty nutmeg, and Cisneros having none of it. It is tremendous work from the fullback. He has put forth an excellent effort on both ends of the pitch. We've already mentioned he's provided a big moment or two. He did miss the first Avialta trip in late June due to a sending off against South Georgia Tormenta. Full circle moment, a major moment of growth for him and the team as a whole. Schenfeld, Espinal off to the races, wrestling along the byline, and that is a well-timed challenge from Glasser, who manages to keep it in play as well. Schenfeld again, has Terzaghi with him. Can't pick him back out. I've already spoken about how FC Naples has been the late match goal specialists of late. They don't require another. They'll be hoping to avoid a nasty twist of fate that sees them on the receiving end of one. Schenfeld. Couldn't keep it in play, and he is incensed by the referee's decision. Two more changes being readied for Naples. It appears Rodolfo Sulia is one of those. Seufert. Simon Fitch now. Some numbers with him, looks through to Espinal. He does reach him. Forced to bend his run a bit though. Back for Seufert in the half space. They are twisting the screws, Richmond, but they have yet to truly test Delgado. Billhart looking to change that. Cisneros bashes away. Snedden well off his line. Simon Fitch. Billhart. Barnathan. Richmond just looking for the weaknesses in this back line. It's an inviting cross from Barnathan. Franca catches up to it. Now Schenfeld. Another cross in. All the way through to Fitch. To the edge of the area for Cella. Over the top. A chance. Schenfeld lashed at. And the Richmond fans are most definitely angry at that lack of a decision. Let's take another look. It is a flurry of chances. Schenfeld's effort deflected. Fell rather nicely for Espinal. Jammed up initially. Dangler does get the ball first. This is a good challenge. And I do not believe the fans have any valid gripes there, to be honest with you. Defensive-minded changes now. Rodolfo Sulia for Ian Cerro. Here's Roscoe Rubenstein also is along the touchline, and that he is. He replaces Carson Henderlong. Matt Poland is buying into parking the bus at this stage. Sulia, a Puerto Rican international. Rubenstein, a young defender. In for Ian Cerro and Carson Henderlong, two attacking players, both subs presented by Publix. At this point, Naples is just buying into weathering the storm. Seufert, Schenfeld, another cross in. Overweights it for everyone, but Fitch is there first. And now Terzaghi. A bevy of options across the face of goal. Appeals that it took a touch on the way out. Not granted by the referee. It's a cross with plenty of velocity from Terzaghi. Doesn't appear that took a touch off of a Naples player. I believe our referee's gotten that right as well. Terzaghi creating some questions for the Naples defense to answer. Approaching the final minute of the initial 90, and a lot of eyes will be on our fourth official in a matter of moments. A night in which they have played a competitive contest, but caught out by one 5-minute wobble by a Naples side that, it must be said, has been far better in this second half for large spells. Fitch, dinking it through. Bill Hart for Barnathan to the back stick. Dangler heads it away. Fitch again, a first-time cross. Falls to the edge of the area. Schenfeld looking for the ankle. Now Bill Hart. There's Fitch. It may take something very special to unlock this Naples back line. All 11 players behind the ball at this stage. It is 5 minutes of added time. A welcome sight for Richmond supporters. Can they conjure late drama? It may not come here. And Espinal, an overzealous tackle. It was a loose pass, and it would have sent Naples on the counter. It is a cynical tackle from Espinal, but it's one that at least does the job for the time being. Fans, eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Fans, the USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to uslchampionship.com or uslleague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Here is Simon Fitch. Crossing it in, dangerous ball that nearly reached Terzaghi. Comes out to Schenfeld, falls for Terzaghi. Stabbed away out of danger once again. There will be very few windows for the Richmond players to play in, especially in the penalty area. It takes something rather quick or rather spectacular if they are to salvage anything. Bill Hart. Fitch. Marshaled well by Cisneros. Seufert on the turn. Dangerous ball toward the back post. Espinal went down and the referee unmoved as Delgado collects. Very good cross this from Seufert. It is Maxi Schenfeld who's in a wrestling match at the back post with Tyler Pasnick, it seems. Doesn't get enough ferocity on the header. Franca is penalized. And you'd figure FC Naples will be in no rush to take this. Two minutes of added time remain. Final 90 seconds of the added 5 minutes. Bill Hart, one of the final chances for Richmond. Espinal, now Clyde Cella. Fitch, another decent cross. Terzaghi got his head to it, and it does go out for a Richmond corner. The Naples players are not thrilled by this decision. It does take a touch off of Rodolfo Suliat, and it sets Richmond up with a golden opportunity in the final minute of stoppage time. Simon Fitch, the corner taker. Taken within swing. Headed along off the bar, still loose, and knocked over the crossbar at the second time of asking. That nearly was the moment. Well taken corner, flicked on by Clyde Cella, who kisses it off the crossbar, and then Guy Franca stabbing at it, but couldn't put it on frame. And you wonder if that was the chance that they were waiting for. Paulo Delgado will waste every possible second he can. We are now beyond the added 5 minutes. It is all at our lead official, Rogelio Alvarez's discretion. And there is the full-time whistle. A night in which Richmond shows promise, but caught out twice in a 5-minute span. And Matt Pullen side with second half resilience once again to snatch all 3 points away from home. What a performance it is from Naples in the second half, as they notch a much-needed 3 points in come-from-behind fashion. The early goal from Landon Johnson had Richmond fans dream in the second half to power them to victory. It's now time for our play of the match, and it is Landon Johnson's opener. It is presented by Courtyard Marriott. What a finish this was. Johnson threw on goal. It does take a deflection off of Breck Evans. He won't complain, though. So well worked as he turns the defender in Jake Dengler, and then manages to get the friendly roll for his first professional goal. That the moment that had Richmond fans dreaming about 3 points over a very strong Naples side, but unfortunately for them, things unraveled fast after that. Our man of the match, unsurprisingly presented by Los Abogados, Richmond, Virginia, is none other than Landon Johnson, whose opener put Richmond in front. The 18-year-old with his first professional goal, but unfortunately for him, it is under the backdrop of a loss. His side falls in 2-1 fashion. We'll step aside briefly. When we return, a look back at the 90 minutes that just transpired here in Richmond.
We would not have a business today if it weren't for the support of the many, many people within the Richmond community. To me, we're working as a team to enhance the quality of life for all residents.
It's about being the best that you can be. It's about enriching the lives of people in your community. There's a reason why we have the tagline Nourish, because it's really about nourishing the lives of the people that work for us and the people that we serve. That's what the UCrops brand stands for.
Health. Suddenly that word seems more important these days, as it's consumed all aspects of our lives and made our universes feel smaller than ever. But at Bon Secours, your health has always been our top priority, and we're staying as committed as always to personalizing the right care for you. Because whether here or from home, we believe your health care should always revolve around you. Bon Secours, primary care for the universe of you. Visit bonsecours.com/primary care to connect with a provider today.
We choose Impossible Pups because of their enrichment activities and the fun photos they send home every day. We choose Impossible Pups because Kendall is excited when I drop her off and she's excited when I pick her up.
My favorite part about working at Impossible Pups is that the staff here feels like family. It's seeing new dogs come in and build long-lasting confidence.
At Impossible Pups, your dog isn't just staying at a kennel, they're staying at their home away from home.
Back here in Richmond, we're at full time, presented by Nightingale Ice Cream. It finishes Richmond 1, FC Naples 2. The visitors earn a hard-fought, come-from-behind victory in the River City. And now looking back at the 90 minutes that just transpired, a very fun affair, and what a start it was for Richmond. After just 12 minutes on the full-time highlights presented by Nightingale Ice Cream, you see Landon Johnson turn Jake Dengler against the stretch Naples back line, curls it towards the far corner, takes a very fortunate deflection off of Breck Evans to open the scoring with his first professional goal. The 18-year-old putting Richmond in dreamland inside the opening quarter of an hour, but then Naples would flip it on its head rather quickly. In the 58th minute, excellent interchange and a well-placed finish by Luca Perpa. You can maybe argue James Sneddon should do better here. It's hit towards his hands, but unable to keep it out. And then from there, Naples winning a penalty. Andres Farine stepping up and somehow missing his first penalty miss of the year, trying to pick out the far corner and is unable to do so. But unfortunately for Richmond, after 2 minutes after O'Dwyer had this effort saved by Lalo Delgado, a very good save, mind you, Naples got on the break, and they had plenty of numbers. It ended up at Carson Henderlong's feet, and what would he do but dispatch it, roll it into the bottom left, and put in completion, but unable to salvage a point late. You see it in the death. This their best chance to do so. Clyde Cello, the flick-on header, kisses off the crossbar. Di Franca's follow-up sails above the goal mouth, and Richmond has to suffer yet another heartbreaking league defeat. Their 5th consecutive defeat in all comps. As you look at the full-time stats, Richmond dominant in terms of possession, even though in shots on goal, and Naples actually the slight shot edge. Their counter-attacking move, the sweeping counter-attack, making the difference on the full-time stats presented by Nightingale Ice Cream. Well, that is where things finish here in the River City. A fast start for Richmond, but neutralized by 2 second-half goals and a 5-minute span by FC Naples as the visitors flash their resilience once again to win 2-1 away from home. For our terrific crew, I'm Sam Goldfarb saying so long from the River City, where Naples wins yet another